You've heard the rumors, the whispers of games potentially being showcased at E3 2017. Hilariously, some of them like Death Stranding have been confirmed to not appear. What other games have been rumored to appear but won't, even with the benefit of the doubt? Tekken Cross Street Fighter. Who in their right mind would think that Tekken Cross Street Fighter will be revealed at E3 2017, you say? In response, well, we don't have much of a response to that. Producer Katsuhiro Harada has said on several occasions that the game is still in development. He was just caught up with the development for Tekken 7. Now that Tekken 7 is out, where will Harada's focus be next? Smart Money says that he'll focus on DLC characters, improvements to Tekken 7, and staying as far away from Tekken Cross Street Fighter as time will allow. Basically, if it does appear, it will be nothing short of a miracle. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Ubisoft seems to have its marching orders for the next 12 months. A new Assassin's Creed? Check. The Crew 2? Sure. Another Far Cry? Why not? That's not counting other titles like Ubisoft Massive's Avatar, The Division, set to receive more updates later this year, For Honor, and so on. In the midst of all this, Beyond Good and Evil 2 seems like an afterthought, which is a shame since the studio effectively re-announced it for the billionth time in October 2016. Creator Mitchell Ansel himself noted that the sequel would not be re-revealed at E3 2017, but that we should hear about it sometime this year. Yeah, like we haven't heard that one before. Scratch Beyond Good and Evil 2 off your E3 wishlist and hope for a better outcome at Gamescom. Final Fantasy VII Remake. With the recent announcement that Square Enix was moving development back in-house, with no mention of what CyberConnect 2's involvement in the project is now, the Final Fantasy VII Remake is clearly in a delicate place right now. Though you definitely see more footage emerging at E3 2017, it feels like Square Enix will just double down on development rather than teasing fans too early. After all, if the game is scheduled to arrive by 2020, then the likelihood of any new gameplay or details in the current development scenario seems low. Square Enix's Avengers project. Yet another company is working on an Avengers game for Marvel. Granted, with Square Enix at the helm and Crystal Dynamics being assisted by Eidos Montreal, this could actually be one of the better superhero titles. You won't be seeing it at E3 2017 though. Why? Because the project itself was announced in January 2017. If we're being argumentative, because why not, then Square Enix could release a teaser for the same, maybe some in-engine footage like Insomniac did for Spider-Man PS4. As it stands, we'd be amazed if anything other than an announcement trailer was showcased, but we'll stick to the game just being absent for now. Phantom WAIL. Remember when From Software said it was working on 2 new games and a new Armored Core? Remember the rumor that emerged about one of those games being Bloodborne 2? Well, another rumor emerged that From Software would actually be working on Phantom WAIL. Along with being a PS4 exclusive co-developed with SIE Japan Studio, the game was described as having an Aztec Mayan influence and seeing players customizing combos, engaging in hand-to-hand combat, and using melee weapons, though they weren't particularly important. Once again, owing to a lack of credibility, the rumor is hard to digest, but it's even harder to take seriously when you consider the mechanics to sound so familiar to Absolver, a martial arts fighting game / MMO from Slowclap. Take it as you will, but it sounds too hokey to be real right now. PlayStation 5. Yes, there have been rumors about a PlayStation 5. This is mostly because with Microsoft revealing Project Scorpio, there's the expectation that Sony will try to counteract this with an announcement of the PS5. Analysts have predicted a 2018 release date for the next Sony console, but here's why you won't see it at E3 2017. Sony has more than enough games for the PS4 and a strong enough lead over the Xbox One to not need a new console right now. The PS4 Pro is also not even a year old, so why take the focus off of that so quickly? Furthermore, when Sony announced the PS4 and PS4 Pro, it did so at Sony events, not E3, and then went to release those consoles in the same year. The PlayStation 5 will likely happen at some point in the next 2 years, but it's not appearing at Sony's presser this year. Halo 3 Anniversary. Blame the fact that it appeared in the Steam database, but many people, mostly hardcore Halo fans, believe that Halo 3 Anniversary would be announced at E3 2017. The Anniversary moniker basically means that 343 Industries would remake the graphics, upgrading them for the HD generation while refining the gameplay. Because if you'll recall, Halo 1 and 2 had Anniversary versions included in Halo the Master Chief Collection, but Halo 3 did not. However, 343 Industries community manager Brian Gerard had to outright tell fans to stop wishing for a Halo 3 Anniversary because it just didn't exist. Would Halo fans be satisfied letting it go? Of course not. Halo 6. Naturally, if Halo 3 Anniversary wasn't happening, then surely Halo 6. 343 Industries did say it had a little something planned for E3 2017, but also made sure to clarify that it wasn't the next mainline Halo title. Halo 5 Guardians was first announced at E3 2013, with the full name and release date confirmed in 2014. The game itself released in 2015, and then we had Halo Wars 2 to fill the gap in 2016, though it actually arrived in 2017. Besides helping the creative assembly with Halo Wars 2, 343 Industries has had to be busy with something. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be Halo 6 at this time. If anything, this is probably more DLC for multiplayer, maybe a bulk package to thank fans for their microtransaction money, support, before moving on to the next sequel. Starfield. Okay, listen. We know that Bethesda is working on at least 2 new games that are in the same vein as The Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Starfield itself would make sense in many ways since it's the Fallout spin-off that was apparently supposed to arrive when all the DLC was done, and it serves as a new IP. The problem is that Starfield has been a trademark for a long time now. Furthermore, the anonymous source that said Starfield would be revealed had nothing to really verify those claims. No past record aside from, I know a guy at Bethesda. Though we could see Bethesda making a game with space travel, random generation of planets, and several different races, which sounds like a weird combination of past and present concepts from Mass Effect Andromeda, this being Starfield feels like a long shot. It could swing either way, but we're gonna stay skeptical for now. The Elder Scrolls 6. Let's make another thing clear. I personally don't think The Elder Scrolls 6 will be announced this year. Heck, I don't think it'll be announced next year either. Though Bethesda has several projects in development, The Elder Scrolls 6 is clearly a ways off from being revealed. It's already been 2 years since Fallout 4 was announced, but Bethesda Game Studios isn't the developer to announce a big-name sequel and then tease it for release 1 to 2 years down the line. If The Elder Scrolls 6 is unveiled at any point in the future, then it's going to be close enough to its release. Besides, with the apparent new games in development, Bethesda seems to be focused elsewhere when it comes to its current release lineup. Resistance 4. Remember that up-to playlist that we mentioned earlier? Yeah, Resistance 4 was another game that was likely, quotation marks, to appear. We see this not happening for several reasons, besides the lack of any inside sources claiming it is. Firstly, Insomniac is busy with Spider-Man PS4, and while we could see some other developer taking the reins, it's unlikely Sony will take the risk especially. Secondly, Sony may not have had an exclusive AAA FPS since Killzone Shadowfall, but it has major deals in place for Destiny 2 and the Call of Duty series. What does it need its own exclusive FPS for? While we don't doubt that Resistance 4 will happen at some point in the future, seeing it at E3 2017 seems like an impossibility right now. Tamagotchi game from Bandai Namco. Up2Play had an interesting list on his website back in March. This list stated that many games like Bloodborne 2 and a new Tamagotchi game for Switch would likely appear at E3. There was a lack of sources or validation, and some games on that list have been confirmed as not appearing at the expo this year, and even if the Tamagotchi game seems weird, it's not impossible. Apparently, the original Tamagotchi has made a comeback in Japan. With the Switch reaching incredible heights in popularity since launch, it wouldn't be the weirdest idea to have Tamagotchi on there, especially if it wants to cater to the mainstream population. Then again, it still sounds ridiculous, so we're gonna wait for E3 to be extra sure. New Deus Ex game. But let's be real, Mankind Divided was announced in 2015. Human Revolution originally released in 2011. Will the sequel really be showcased at E3, given the gap between the first game's release and the sequel's announcement? It just doesn't seem likely to us. Smash Bros. Switch. Nintendo wants every one of its major franchises on the Switch, and with Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U releasing so late into the cycle, it doesn't seem impossible that it will head to the Switch. But what about a new Smash Bros? Will a brand new game actually be unveiled for the hybrid console? Honestly, with Nintendo recently announcing that its main news presentation will be 30 minutes, we doubt either is making an appearance at this point, especially with so many other titles like Shin Megami Tensei and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in the wings. That'll be it for this video. If you like what we're doing, please go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.